actually wanted to film this for the longest time because I feel like my previous brow tutorial, I still love the products that I showed on that video, and I still use them. And you will see that I will mention, if you watch both of these videos, you will see that I mentioned the same products. However, I feel like my technique got a little better and I've learned a little bit more tricks and whatnot. And I have tried many more different products, and I feel like I know a little bit more what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? This is going to be a super in-depth kind of like, I want to go through all the different products that I love and why I love them. They're all different forms of brow products, and I know it can be a little confusing. You're like, do I use a pencil? Do I use a gel? Do I use a pomade? Do I use powder? This will be like the ultimate brow tutorial. And I just wanted to be very informative because brows can be a little tough, and you really do get better as you keep trying. And like I said, you have to find which product works best for you and what you can work with the best. So without any more rambling, let's get started. So before we get into the tutorial, I just want to go through the products and explain a little bit why they are my favorites and what do I use them for. Brows are very personal, and brows are also, I guess you could say, an accessory to the makeup that you're doing. If I'm doing a very natural, like just out the door kind of makeup, I'm not gonna really like put so much like crazy thought into my brows. I just want to kind of fill them in and brush them out. I use different products to achieve that. If I'm doing a more elaborate look, a more glamorous look, I will put more thought into it, and I will spend more time on my brows and making sure they're perfectly drawn in, and you know, it's still looking natural. There are different techniques, and everybody has to find what works for them. And there are so many brow products out there that it can be a little confusing. So that's what I want to get to before we get to the tutorial. So first, I have to talk about Anastasia, Beverly Hills. She is the queen of the brows. And for the longest time, the DIPBROW is scared the heck out of me. I actually purchased this a long time ago. I want to say maybe a year ago. And I used it like twice, and I was like, no, I can't. It doesn't work for me. So I returned it, and I just never even thought about it again. So I purchased a different shade. I have tried to apply this with different brushes, and now I have to say that this is a lifesaver. I think that this, if used properly, can be your best of friend. This is a DIPBROW, and I have mine in the shade dark brown because it's still very, I don't want it to be too warm. It's still very ashy, and it goes nicely with my hair. Also, I have to say that this does translate differently on pictures than it does in real life. You can build this up, and you can get a very strong look with this. And if you're not careful, yes, you can go very overboard. But also, if you have a very light hand, you can get the very realistic hair-like on your brows. So this, I don't think I would ever stop repurchasing this. I absolutely love it. So sticking with Anastasia, everybody knows the Brow Wiz. The Brow Wiz is what I use for a solid, almost like a year. Like, this is what I used every single time I did my brows. They have so many shades. It's blendable. The spoolie here, it's so tiny. If you have brows like me that are super tiny and sparse, this is the best. I save, this is completely empty, so I save this and I keep it with my brushes. I wash it off and I keep it with my brushes, and I just make sure there's really like nothing in there. I keep this where I keep my brushes because just even if I use a different brow product, I love the spoolie. So this is a brow powder duo, and this is what I used. This is what I first purchased. You can see is well loved. I hit pan in both sides, mostly because when I was in photo shoots, people would use this on me a lot, and I was like, wow, this is a great product. So that's why I purchased at first, and I must say that I still love this product. As long as you blend it and as long as you brush it through your brows and use a little bit of brow gel, it does not look powdery at all, and it will give you like a very natural look if you use a lighter hand. It's just a little bit more time consuming because you do have to like build it up, just like the brow wiz. I feel like this and the brow wiz take the same amount of time. So you can use the darker shade towards the tail of your brow and then the lighter in the beginning, which is what really gives that natural looking brow. So sticking with the high-end brands, I recently tried Benefit Cosmetics a few months ago, and I cannot recommend this guy enough. This is the GIMME Brow. It's a tinted brow gel, but also it's a volumizing brow gel. So what that means is it has tiny little fibers that will make your brows, it will grab onto your real hairs and it will make them look fuller. Probably my favorite part. I love the shade. It's not too warm. It's just perfectly, it adds a little bit more of coverage, but also is the wand. Look at how tiny that is. It's just, it's perfect. It's literally, you can get every single hair if you have sparse brows, if you have thin brows. This is amazing. Even if you don't want to fill your brows in and if you just want to really quick out the door kind of day-to-day makeup, even if you use just this, it will give you fuller looking brows and it will keep them in place all day long. So I highly recommend this. I use this every single time I fill in my brows. So I love this stuff. Another product from Benefit is the Highbrow, which is a pencil like this. And I use this to clean up and to just pretty much highlight the brow bone right here. I think it does make a difference when you do, after you're done with your brows and you highlight your brow bone. It makes such a difference. Also, this is amazing on the waterline. If you want to make your eyes look bigger, and I quickly just want to mention the Instant Brow Pencil also from Benefit, because I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. The consistency of this pencil is a little, it's kind of like if it's kind of like a brow pencil was mixed with a little bit of the pomade. You can really like make him look wispier if you would like. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of like a more natural look. And it's kind of like a one-step kind of thing. So I feel like people don't talk about this a lot, and I really like this. So now moving on to more affordable versions. By all means, this is not a dupe, a completely dupe video, because I think they're all different in their own ways. I thought they would just give you more options because we don't always want to spend the money. So these are more affordable options. So this is e.l.f. Cosmetics Lock On Liner and Brow Cream, which in a way, it reminds me a lot of the DIPBROW. They don't have as many shades as Anastasia Beverly Hills does, but I love it. I've been using this for a solid 2 weeks, I should say, non-stop. It's amazing. Love this. So next I have the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. So it's the same kind of like super thin brow pencil, retractable brow pencil. It stays very thin even after you use it a million times. I have repurchased this probably 3 times already. The spoolie is nice and small, just like the brow is. I would say this is a very good alternative. It's a little, the shades are a little bit warmer, but not to the point where it bothers me so much. So I'll still purchase this. You can find this at Ulta or Harmon's or, you know, Target or whatnot. Like in these, you know, pretty much every drugstore. And a lot of places give you coupons so you can get a few bucks off a lot of the time. So I feel like if you're a person who loves the Brow Wiz but doesn't want to spend the money, because they do go kind of quickly. Like I would say this lasts me about, I don't know, like a month. But I am a person who does makeup constantly. So if you don't wear makeup every day, then this obviously will last you longer. But this is a great, great, great alternative to the Brow Wiz. So love this stuff. So now I just want to go quickly through some brushes that I think will really, really make your life easier when you're filling in your brows. So first I have a double-sided kind of brush. One side is your typical angled brush, and the other side has a spoolie, which is super practical. So this is what you want to have in hand when you're doing pomades or powders. Lastly, a concealer brush. Very important, which is just basically super flat and precise and small. You would want this to clean up that product buildup over here on the bottom and also on top, so you can really sharpen them. Concealer brush, it's super necessary. So it's all about what works for you, how much time you want to spend on doing your brows, how you want them to look like. They don't have to look the same every single day. You can switch up your looks. There's no rules. So I just think it was, so I just wanted to, so for that reason I wanted to cover everything and mention all the products. So these are my favorite products so far because I'm always constantly trying brow products because I'm such a brow product junkie, but these are my favorite products. So let's get into the tutorial. What I like to do first, very important, brush your hair all the way. Place your brows where you want them to go so you can have an idea to where to follow and draw your hair. To start, I am holding this super lightly. Like I'm literally just holding all the way down where the spoolie is, because if you go and hold it like right here, you're gonna have a super, super harsh application. So you want to have a nice, as you are like painting. So what I like to do first is I go very, very light-handed and do light strokes. And I follow this line right here, the bottom line. Brushing in between every application and every step is the key to more natural looking brows, because you want to brush that and blend the product. You don't want harsh lines because that's not natural. Go in very light upward. I kind of like flick it upward like that to where the hairs would be. And then I stop to about this point right here. And then now I'm gonna grab my e.l.f. Lock-On Liner and Brow Cream in my Sephora angled brush, and I'm going to fill in the tail. Essentially what you want is to have the tail of your brow look darker and stronger per se than this part right here. So I just dipped my angled brush onto that product, and now I just go very light on the bottom. And now I'll just start drawing and filling them in. And it kind of look like hair. This part for me is where I feel like the most like missing hair right there. So I put a little bit more pressure when it comes to the tail of my brows, because I want them to look a little fuller and darker than this part right here. The difference is insane. So this is where you can either use a concealer or, like as I mentioned, the highbrow. I like Benefit Boing. It's a little concealer in a pot like this. So I just dip my concealer brush onto this concealer and just clean up the little imperfections. And you don't need to use a much lighter concealer. You can use your own regular shade, or you can even use your foundation if you like. I also see a lot of people drawing a line with their concealer above the brows and really cleaning and sharpen them. And I don't necessarily agree that that's the best way to do it, because you don't necessarily want to highlight this part. So why would you apply a lighter concealer? It makes no sense to me. So I think the best way to go is with your own foundation on the same concealer brush. Even just wipe your brush and just use nothing on it, and then just go on top and just lightly sharpen the edges. So this is where you want to apply either a clear brow gel or a tinted brow gel, whatever you prefer. I love my Gimme Brow by Benefit Cosmetics. Alright, so that's it for this ultimate brow tutorial. I feel like I've covered a lot, but please feel free, if you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below and tell me what your favorite brow products are, because I am a brow product junkie. I just want to know what's gonna give me the best brows of life. So I'm always down to try something new. If you like this video and if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up, because it really helps my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!